It is a ticking time bomb that few people seem to be talking about, except in state government circles.
And those who are talking about the looming problem with California's teacher pension fund wonder why politicians aren't talking about it. News 10 political editor John Myers takes an in-depth look at the problem growing worse by the second.
I like to see that person who will stand up against the crowd.
Libby Coleman wants her students at McClatchy High in Sacramento to tell it like they see it.
And so as you can see, it's very clear, kind of crystal clear.
But not so clear to this savvy teacher until just recently, the looming disaster for the retirement fund that she and tens of thousands of California teachers count on. And she's not alone.
Yeah, just pour it in. I emailed some other teachers and said, do you know anything about this? And frankly, most of them didn't. So that certainly is a place to start. We need to be better educated about what's going on.
And so here is the simple truth. The California State Teachers Retirement System, or CalSTRS, is on its way to going flat broke in 30 years. The current problem is estimated to be at least $70 billion. In fact, the number you see on the top right-hand corner of your screen, that is how much worse the CalSTRS problem has grown just since this story has been on the air. It's growing at a rate of some $255 every second, almost $22 million a day.
There is not the luxury of waiting another 10 years to figure out this problem.
CalSTRS CEO Jack Enos says it's simple math. The pension fund needs more seed money to invest for teachers. How much more? A whopping $4.5 billion every year for decades, combined from the state, school districts, and teachers. The vast majority of that, taxpayer dollars. For perspective, $4.5 billion is double what the entire Cal State University system will cost state government this year. Pay in less, and the hole actually over time gets deeper. Without help, CalSTRS will be insolvent in 2044.
The state would be on the hook for those benefits, and it would be catastrophic.
How did things get so bad? After all, California's Teachers Pension Fund had a surplus back in 1998. Well, that led to overconfident lawmakers increasing a handful of teacher pension benefits, like bonuses for working longer and counting sick leave towards pension payments. Then they slashed the state's annual contribution. That meant a heavier reliance on Wall Street investments, which, as we know, collapsed. A $70 billion shortfall that many admit could have been avoided.
I do think that in retrospect, there are lessons learned.
Darrell Steinberg was a newly elected legislator back then who voted for some of those changes. Now the state Senate leader admits fixing it will be tough, with so many programs cut back during California's deficit years.
It is hard, even if it's necessary, to increase funding for that long-term pension obligation when there is a great demand to make up for a lot of what has been lost.
Still, the teachers' pension time bomb keeps on ticking. This year, not a single bill was introduced at the Capitol to stop it. Governor Jerry Brown has not offered a fix either. And surprisingly, the powerful California Teachers Association, which wants it fixed, on its website still calls the risk of CalSTRS insolvency a myth. It's no myth, says the pension fund's CEO.
We will clearly not fill that $70 billion hole you mentioned without revenue.
Please get out your pre-labs.
And so teachers like Libby Coleman wonder why no one's done anything.
Their job is supposed to be to solve these big problems and grapple with those. That's what we elect them to do, but they're more concerned about the next election, I think, than about doing the right thing.
Coleman's retirement is safe, but she worries for young teachers who may hear all of this and decide the private sector is a safer bet. It's also a worry for her students, future taxpayers, who must help pay that pension bill you see ticking in the corner of your screen, growing bigger every second, every day. In Sacramento, John Myers, News 10.
John has much more on the teacher pension dilemma online, including how the problem could be almost twice as big as what you just heard. Log on for that, news10.com.